It's sitting here for...
Oh, we're on. You can hear us. All right. Well, good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM. And we are broadcasting live from the new Mel-O-Cream Donuts here.
Mel-O-Cream.
Yeah, Mel-O-Cream here. Joe, a fantastic place here. Pretty busy this morning over there. Now we do have some sound.
We're in.
Yeah.
Nice job, Jim.
We've been doing this for 30 years, and Jim forgets to plug in the most important plug.
Well, he's the most important part. If we can just get him plugged in, then we're okay.
Then we're good.
He got all comfortable over there in that metal chair and forgot to take care of things.
Yeah, we are at the new Mel-O-Cream here, so come on out and see us. Get you some donuts and
rally towels. We got rally towels given away in there.
All right, I'll have to grab a few of those for the game today. And joining us this morning is Coach Neil Alexander, along with Joe Ryan and Jay Harden, coming in today. And we're going to talk girls basketball here coming up, but we brought Neil on. I'm not really sure why.
Well,
I can go eat donuts.
He's just another pretty face that we wanted to put on.
He's in a routine. He's a routine guy, and
we don't want to break it.
Every last Saturday from Thanksgiving till now, this is where he's at. So he just keeps showing up, and we'll keep talking to him. But Coach, exciting times right now at the high school. A lot of things going on. I know we got spring sports just probably next week, or they probably already even started.
We don't have anything this week, but the following week, softball gets started on Monday, a week from Monday, and I think baseball's on Tuesday, and then it just starts rolling. So, it's here, and once you start your spring season, you're talking graduation.
Yeah, I mean, and our seasons kind of, especially now, are running together with football making the playoffs. Then we roll right into basketball, and then with what our girls are doing now, they're going to maybe have a day or two break, and then they're going to start their spring sports, and just a lot going on out there. And being an AD, it's
but he gets summers off
for you.
He gets summers off. Okay.
Hey, I was going to say, bring some of the basketball fans up to date, because we did have a sectional championship last night out there, which you were in charge of. I'm sure you ran it to a T. Tell us about the game last night.
Well, first of all, we had a great crowd. It was pretty.
I saw highlights.
Full.
Looked packed.
It was, and a good game. Mount Zion defeated Decatur MacArthur. I don't know, it was about a 10-point game, but it was really close until halfway through the fourth quarter, and it was a very physical game, but a lot of athletes on the floor, and we saw Mount Zion back at our Thanksgiving tournament, and they're even better now than what they were back then. So I think they've got a chance to get to the Final Four, and
really,
and the fact is that they're playing a lot with four of their main players are juniors, so they've got a lot to look forward to.
Yes, I saw the highlights on TV, and they would show that Mount Zion side. It was packed to the top.
It was well. Decatur had theirs full too. It was a great crowd, great atmosphere, and it's hopefully from COVID it's starting to come back, because that's what we remembered before pre-COVID, and and hopefully it'll just continue to get better.
And we saw, so they move on to play in Springfield.
They play Monday. There's 2 games in Springfield Monday. Macomb plays Williamsville.
Yeah.
And then the second game will be Centralia versus Mount Zion. So if you're not doing anything Monday and you get not tired after this weekend, go on down. I'm sure that'll be a couple good basketball games as well.
A lot going on this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think they've done that in the past, where you have 2 games for a super
last year they had 2. That's the first year I remember. I don't know if they've been doing that since they've gone to the 4 class.
It's a pretty good.
Where we're playing on the same weekends. If you remember back in the time when it was only a 2-class system, we used to play the sectional there, and on the Tuesday night we'd always play 2 games, and there would be anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 people in there, and it was a great atmosphere. And that's a great venue to play in.
And it's probably pretty smart too, getting 2 games in there, because to operate that building isn't cheap, and just a little more revenue would help them out as well.
Yep, correct. So, so there's a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, and speaking of good things, the girls took care of business yesterday, and going back to the championship today, and going up against a Chatham team, so this is a Central State 8 matchup.
That's unreal. That's just fantastic for our first year back in the Central State 8, and we end up with an all Central State 8 state final, not just a conference championship. This is a state final of 2 teams from our conference. So I think it speaks volume for where the Central State 8 conference stands.
So where do they take that? At some point in time, that cutoff line of going north and south had to be right here, right?
Well, we're the farthest team south.
Yeah, okay. So
in every 2 years when they redo the enrollment, they flip-flop. They divide it east and west for 2 years, and then they'll flip it and they'll go north and south. So they rotate it to where, and we're on that line to where a couple years we're going to go south and a couple years we're going to north. Boys, for instance, we went south this year compared to we've been going to Mahomet, Bloomington for 2 years. So I would think that we'll have another. I would think the girls will probably go that way again next year, and then when they redo the line, and because this is the first year of the 2-year cycle for enrollment. The enrollment I'm talking about, that's how they every 2 years you're set on whether you're a 2A, 3A, 4A school. You freeze your enrollment every 2 years. So when they adjust that, they adjust the line on their dividing point. Some teams aren't affected by it, but there are some teams that are, and we're one of them.
Very cool. Worked out well this year. And if they played, does Lincoln played? Have the girls played Chatham twice or just once?
Just once.
Just once.
That was back January
5th, I think.
Yeah, January 5th or 6th.
6th. I think we played them the 5th, and then they played them the following day. And to me as a coach, that's a catch game every year. You come off your holiday tournament, and that's the first game in the new year. And I've never seen many teams play well that weekend. It's weekend that's I just call it. You try to survive that weekend. It's going to be. The kids had the Christmas tournament. They played hard. The adrenaline was flowing. Now then they're thinking New Year's and going back to school, and it's just a mess that first week back. And I don't know how the girls' game was, but I know our game every year. It's not very good.
Nobody ever shoots well in Chatham's gym anyway, and the girls did not shoot particularly well during that basketball game. It was defense that carried them. Chatham is playing about 3 freshmen girls, and they're very good, and they're much improved from what they were in January.
Oh boy, I was impressed with them. I was. They've got a lot really going, and for the future of the Titans, it's bright. And I would say one thing. I've coached a lot of kids, and then I've coached their kids, but now then opponent, this might be the first, but Brad Bob's got a daughter that's playing for Chatham. So Brad played for us, back in the time, and
Ava Bob's her name.
She's starting
number 4.
Number 4. She's
starting
a good player.
Yeah, she's good.
Well, she's got to be good. She's been getting pushed around by Dan and Brad. So she's tough.
She's tough. I guarantee that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that score was, 54-20?
55-20. They held them to 20 points.
Yeah.
It ended up being a running clock, but that was a tough and physical game that they played. And Chatham's got girls that can shoot. The big girl, the Newman girl, she's like 6 feet tall. Well, she's long. She got long arms, so she can cover shooters on defense, but she can also shoot the basketball. And as we know from boys and girls experience, Lincoln never really has a lot of size, and the girls are that way. They're all about the same size. So it's going to be a test for him today. There are a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, we beat him by 35 back in. And I'm saying, no. This game's going to be totally different than that one.
It will be.
Well, I talked to Dan Bob yesterday, and he's been to all the games because it's his granddaughter, and he said that they were very average, and then all of a sudden about a month ago things clicked, and they have been playing very well at the end of the season like you always want them to.
I think it'll be a good championship game. I think what's been special about our girls is they've always been focused and they have a goal, and I think they'll show up to play. I don't think they'll overlook them. I think they'll come and they're going to get Lincoln's best shot. I don't think it'll be looking ahead or assuming and.
You said that. So I was watching yesterday some of the 4A semifinals, and I watched the Loyola Frim game. And at the end of that game, the Loyola girls were out there jumping around and celebrating. And I understand being happy about winning and going to the state championship game. But I contrasted that with what our girls did after winning against Montini. It was a very tough win, but you could still see it in their eyes. They were still focused. They knew they had one more step to go. And it's like, okay, we're happy we won, but we still got one more to play to win this thing.
Yeah, and they're focused, and I don't think the opponent matters who. They're not going to get this close and not let this one. So I feel really good about our girls, and their mental preparation is unbelievable. They've done a great job of staying focused in what they want to do and playing one game at a time.
Exactly.
And they're just so relentless. They wear teams down. Like for instance yesterday, Montini held with us for the first half, hitting some big shots, and they come out second half. I think Lincoln just wore them down with our pressure, and those 3-pointers that they were hitting in the first half, not so much second half, because I think they were a little bit tired because our girls go out and play 32 minutes just pressure basketball.
I will say that the girls are no different than the boys. I think the officials are told to put the whistle up, and the girls' games have been just very physical, and we've been able to survive it, and our girls don't back down. Our girls, if you look at them, they're not very big, but they're pretty physical.
Yeah, and Jay and I were talking about that before we went on air about officiating and girls basketball these days. It's a tough physical sport, and a lot of times Froby gets in the lane, gets just mauled and nothing called.
No call.
And and we saw that in the boys with Drew Hayes just getting hammered at times and no calls. But we've talked about officiating on several shows, and that's what you're going to get this day and age because we've got new guys filtering through.
I talked on at the assembly the other day, and I'd get our kids to understand that basketball is not a perfect game. There's not been ever a perfect game played to where you have no turnovers, and we talked about no turnovers. You make every free throw, you make every shot, but you throw the officials out there and everybody expects them to be perfect, and it's not going to happen, and they're going to miss calls, but everybody's prejudiced towards their team, and everybody thinks that their team does no wrong, but I tell you what, we get our hacks in too. And we get away with a lot just as, and
and you help with the officials some. I help
them.
Seen you some games.
They try,
guides them in the right way,
but they don't listen to me.
Sir, it's sir, can you please look at
I always see you over there very politely.
Most of them come and stand right in front of me, and I can't even watch the game. And I never understood that you got an official standing right in front of a coach.
They probably talk about it. They're trying to aggravate you.
Why can't you rotate them where I'm sure they would rather be somewhere else than standing next to the coach.
A bad place to be.
Yeah. So
funny stuff.
But it's a real physical game, and yesterday I thought the officials called it equal, fair, and it's going to be a physical game today.
Yeah, I mean, and going into the game, you just have to judge the officiating and what they're going to call and adjust as the game goes. All right, they're going to let me be physical. We get a little more physical, but then just be consistent, because that can really change the outcome of a game. If you're calling it close one time and then letting stuff go towards the end of the game.
Yeah, last night's game, man, it was physical.
Yeah.
And if you're going to advance in the state tournament, you better be able to handle that. And, where's our girls at? So they've handled it pretty well.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick. Oh, you want to take a break?
I was just saying, let's take a break.
All right. You want to take a break?
Yeah.
All right. Joe wants to take a break, so we'll be back after these messages on WLC and 96.3 FM.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
96.3 FM, broadcasting live from the new Mel-O-Cream, and we're going to try to give a dozen donuts away. Joe, is that all right?
That's absolutely okay.
All right. Well, if you give us a call at 217-871-4930 and predict tonight's final score, you'll be entered in. Well, the closest to that number will win a dozen donuts. So give us a call at 217-871-4930 with your guess. And you could
get yourself a dozen donuts. Can you eat a dozen at once, Neil?
No, not anymore. I used to.
All right, just checking on you. I bet you could. If I gave you all day riding something.
Yeah.
Keep reaching over there, biting into them.
Well, these are very fulfilling.
There you go.
No, you can't. If you can eat a whole box of those, wow.
Yeah, you're going to get a sugar buzz.
Yeah. And diabetes.
So let's go and jump right into what Neil needs to tell us about the game from a supervisory standpoint.
Yeah, yesterday the IHSA and the faculty the staff at ISU was very courteous to allow our kids to move down, or our fans to move down into the Chatham area after their game. And, we talked to the kids about, the equal seating that the IHSA gives, and there'll be 4 teams that'll have each corner and be assigned, sections. Even though it says, general admission, it is restricted to certain sections. And I tried to get them to let me know, but they said they had to work on them because of where people will have to sit, because they stagger them. Like yesterday, we sat next to Chatham. Well, that won't happen today. So they got to rotate all the seating around, and I didn't get the numbers, but they'll be posted once you get to the CEFCU Center. But what they're asking is that we have our sections, please set in them, but there won't be an extra section like we had yesterday because of being the second game. So it'll be tight. It is on first come, first serve. The overflow goes upstairs. They do reserve seats for our student body, so we ask that people please stay out of that section and let our students be part of it. The game, we got kids playing the game, but the students, it's part of their experience as well as being a student body and so forth. So we ask that hopefully we can get, some help of staying out of those areas. But the IHSA was very complimentary of our fans yesterday. We appreciate that. I've said it many times, our girls are nothing more than class, and they represent Lincoln High School at the top of the list, and hopefully our fans will not take anything away from them and how people feel towards our girls, because just for instance, I had a former coach that coaches against at Lincoln, a couple, J.R. Barbonis from Rochester, and he just told me a little story. He's talking to his team, and he said, hey, because you guys all know when you compete, you don't like the other schools. It's just a behavior, and he asked his kids, what do you think of the Lincoln girls? And he said the kids told him, it's hard not to pull for the girls because they're all, they're very good girls, and they play hard. I don't see them talking on the floor. I think they play the game the way it's supposed to be played. They do their thing, and they move on. But let's not destroy that by doing things that we shouldn't be doing as adults and student body and everything. So I'm excited for our girls to tomorrow or tonight. It's been a long week. But please, if we can, set in the assigned sections. The overflow goes upstairs. I know yesterday the overflow, we were all the way around the upper rim. And, I don't know if that they do have, and hopefully we can get all our fans together to make as much noise as we possibly can. And, 2 years ago, ago, well, really 3 years ago, when this group started playing together, we all knew it was going to be something special. And here we are 3 years later, and you talk about, well, I talk to kids about how time flies, and here we are. We're about ready to send them off. They've got one game left, and hopefully our fans will show up and, show the appreciation that our community has had for the girls over the course of time.
Yeah, there's no doubt our fans they'll definitely show up. We saw that yesterday, and being Saturday, and then this is going to be the last time these girls play together, and the fan support's been amazing, and I don't see anything less for tonight.
Well, our fans, and I've said it, this community supports whatever sport we got. They're supporting our girls, but they do football, basketball, they're all over. They support every sport that we have out at the high school, and it's fantastic to have the community support that we have.
Absolutely.
But as the athletic, and you've run a sectional tournament, you've run several tournaments out here at Lincoln High School, and after watching how some of the tournaments have been conducted along the way from the girls, yourself how you position the crowds also helps effectively determine your crowd control.
Oh, very much.
And I've seen it done differently where crowds are sitting next to each other. In fact, we saw Sam Knox last night after the game, and I said, "You're not going to sit Chatham and Lincoln next to each other, are you?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Because that's not going to work tomorrow. You're going to have two raucous crowds. You're just inviting trouble to do that." In fact, I understand that you and the SHG athletic director moved some kids from behind the MacArthur bench during the first game of the sectional because they were going to sit behind MacArthur's bench.
That's funny you bring. You have signs posted, student section. And all of a sudden you look over and their student section is not there. They're behind the opponent's bench. That's asking for trouble.
It is.
That is asking for trouble. And I caught it with about 3 minutes to go. I was running around trying to get everything, and I look over there and I go, "Boy, that's not going to work." So I went over and I had to move. Even so, there was parents, fans sitting in the student section. So I had to move the students into that section to put them behind their team bench. Our gym is kind of hard. Some schools have where you have a middle aisle.
Right.
Right up the middle, all the way. Ours is not like that. So when I started putting the fans where we're going to set people, I was going to put the adults on one side, on one half, and the students on the other side. But our gym's not set up that way. So now then you go the other way. Now you got to know where to put your student body. So it worked out, and we had great crowds, and the fans were great. We only had a couple incidents. We had to ask people to kind of stay in their seat. But, fans get excited about the games and everything. You're right. The crowd control is very, very, and I said it earlier, Chatham one of us will not be sitting where we were yesterday. And I'm kind of thinking and hoping that we're in the same section because we're the visiting team. We'll wear our dark uniform again tonight. And hopefully they'll have us sitting there. If not, it'll be over behind our student or our team.
We got a caller on the line. Good morning. Who are we talking to this morning?
Donnie Neal.
Donnie Neal. You got a prediction for tonight's score?
Yes, I do. 49-32.
49-32, and Lincoln favored, right?
You betcha.
All right, 49-32.
I used to live in Lincoln, but I live in Mount Pulaski now.
All right. Well, rooting on them girls tonight, huh?
You betcha.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, and hopefully that score holds up true, and you win a dozen of donuts.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for the call.
But is there a color scheme tonight, like red, green,
I'm not
white?
sure. That's one thing I don't pay attention to. I'm not in charge of the call.
If you know that answer, give us a call.
You have one of the kids call you because they've got it spread around and everything. So that's one thing that I just look across. Okay, this is what we are tonight. And,
I gave you a trick question. I'm sorry.
yeah, that was a trick.
Most of the questions I ask you, I know you know the answer to.
Well,
Green.
or I can kind of.
Tonight's green.
Green. There we go. So the fans know tonight is green.
Green. So I don't have
There
to
we go.
change.
No, you look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go here.
Them clothes you wore yesterday.
How would you know?
I saw pictures.
Some people have to work, Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's take another quick commercial break. We come back. We'll have more here on the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
This is Dave Kindred, and you're listening to Cheap Seats with Joe, Jake, Jim, Floyd, and Shabadoo on 96.3 FM WLCN.
Open 217-871-4930. If you want to predict tonight's score, you could win a dozen donuts from Mel-O-Cream. Or if you just want to call and talk about the girls basketball team, we can do that too. But give us a call and try to get yourself a dozen donuts. We've only got 2 entries so far, so 50-50 there for them.
Well, we could all get involved too.
Can we?
Yeah.
Oh, you want for free donuts?
Yeah, I'd like to see what's your score. Throw it there, Scotty.
I'm going to say 55-40.
That's good. 55-40, good choice. I think we score more points than that.
Coach?
I don't know. 65 to 49.
65-49. Jay, you got a prediction?
I said it last night, 55-45.
Oh, okay. Well, I like it. I don't care if it's 55-54.
One more. We only need one.
We need one more point than them.
1 point.
And like we talked about
70
earlier.
to 45.
70. Ooh. Joe.
I think the Lady Raiders are getting hot.
Let's not be giving Chatham any bulletin board material. We've seen that go on this season too, where there were some comments made before the Morton game that fired up some of the other girls on the Lincoln team. That some of the comments that were made, well, all they had to do was stop Frobe and Heitzig, and they'd win. And I can tell you firsthand, some of the other girls took offense to that, big time offense to it. And you saw how hard they played during that Morton game. They were not going to lose that game. They were not going to lose that basketball game.
Yeah, and then you got to think that they have that same mentality tonight, because this is it. It's all or nothing. But
Jay, you've been running with them at every game all year long, doing the broadcasting. Just kind of spin through the season a little bit there as you got started and where we're at today.
Well, they ended up playing 2 double headers over at Morton to start out the season at Thanksgiving tournament. Ended up winning it. They hadn't had much practice. They'd come right out of volleyball and they only had probably 3 days of practice to go into that Morton Thanksgiving tournament, and ended up blowing out 3 teams and then turning around and taking Morton and beating them by 16 points on their home floor in a tournament Morton has won like 8-9 times. So that was a heck of a way for them to start the season. They've just kind of gotten better. I mean, they've had some games where maybe they didn't shoot particularly well.
You say not shoot, and defense wins championship.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And that's the reason why. You're not going to shoot the ball every night, and this is a good defensive team.
Last year they set a record for defense. It was like 30.8 points a game they allowed, and they're slightly under that right now. So they have a chance at setting even more of a defensive record this year with this basketball team. The Christmas tournament, they kind of rolled through the Christmas tournament, although Dunlap played them tough and hung with them for about a quarter, and nobody really knows what would have happened against Peoria. I mean, that was really a turn of events when Alia Guyton went down in the first quarter of that basketball game, but they kind of rolled through that tournament. I really thought when they got up to Chicago, that Kip Hoop Fest, having to go up there and play a Kenwood basketball team, that would have been more of a challenge for them. They rolled past Kenwood, surprisingly so. And then, credit to Coach and Coach Rohrer for the scheduling they did this year and how tough that it was. They turned around and had that state tournament prep weekend, let's call it that, playing O'Fallon. So you get to play O'Fallon on their floor, which is a college-sized floor, in a big, that's a big gym down there. And then you go and play a very tough and physical Alton team up at East Alton Wood River. And I thought, gee, if they were going to get tripped up, that would be probably the time it would be done. They would get tripped up. and they gutted both of those games out. I mean, it was fantastic to watch. When they have not shot well, they have gutted it out. They have found ways to win. And if you've watched them, Chloe Frobe is one of the toughest competitors I've seen. Becca Heitzig is as tough as they come. You wouldn't know it by seeing them. They come out on the floor. It's kind of like the boys' teams of the past. They come out on the floor, you go, that's just a little, it's a little band of girls with ponytails on. Then they start to play, and you find out how tough that they are. They're very tough-minded. It's all up here, too. They're a very tough-minded basketball team. And, they've put themselves, you got to put yourself in a position to be in a position to do something. And that's what they have done for 37 games. They have put themselves in a position to be in a position to win a state championship. And now they got one more round.
We talk about all the time about you got to learn how to win. Those girls they've learned how to win.
Well, they have a history. They have a history of winning. I mean, from the grade schools on up through the high school, they have a history of winning. And winning is something, you talked about it with SHG. There's still that winning mentality at SHG coming off of their state championship and their runs, and they still have that winning mentality. You need that winning mentality. It carries you forward, and that's what these girls have done. I'll be interested to see. You don't want to look too far ahead, but you have a JV team that went undefeated this year, and they were pretty much undefeated. They were very good last year. What are we looking at? Next year and the year after, this is still going to be a very good basketball team, and hopefully the experience that they've gotten playing against these girls every day and seeing how they've carried themselves and how they've gone about business will carry them forward the next 2 years. Winning begets winning.
Yeah, they know how to win. That's for sure.
Very much so. And you said it there that our freshmen and sophomores, they've been practicing against the best team in the state.
Yes.
Every day. And people don't realize that that's where you get better as the competition and how you practice and everything. So those kids have been prepared playing against a very, very top-notch team.
I always say it about Rochester football.
Exactly.
It's why that's just always so good, because those guys practice against state champions all the time.
The other thing too is they have almost every curveball that's been thrown at them, they've dealt with. And when you think about it, so you had Chloe Frobe goes down as a sophomore for 6 games. They went 4-2 in those 6 games. They learned how to play without Chloe Frobe. They ended up playing without Chloe Frobe during the Dunlap game of the Christmas tournament and still won that basketball game handily without her. Becca went down last year with a broken hand and was out a number of games. They learned how to play without Becca Heitzig. Then you come into this season and they've dealt with a lot of illness. I'm not sure a lot of people know that. With the illnesses that have been going around, they've had kids, and you know this, they've had kids that haven't been able to practice. And it's been a significant number. They've had kids, Mason McLeod was in the hospital. They've had kids that have been down, but they have dealt with it. They've dealt with every bit of adversity that has been thrown at them this year and in past years. They know how to overcome that adversity. That usually gets you through the tough times. If you're going through a tough stretch in a game where maybe you're not hitting shots or something goes wrong, you still have that mental, hey, I've overcome this. I know what to do. I know how to move forward. I know how to overcome this and move past it.
It's been a team that's went through it all, and now we're here right on the edge of it. Scotty, what do you think?
We're right there.
But you all said it. It's a great team. And you don't win with one player, 2 players.
Right.
It's a great team, and you said it very well that they stepped up. Kids step up in
different situations. They're fun to watch.
And you watch
the defensive side of it. I'm a defensive coach, and it's phenomenal. I watch that side of the ball where everybody wants offense and things, but I watch their defense, and teams have a hard time finding shots, period. It's tough to find a shot against our kids.
But we have a Hall of Fame coach sitting here. You've coached, you've broadcasted, you got kids coaching. Coaches provide direction, but really you've got players that provide your leadership on the floor. And that's what you see out of this team. There is a tremendous amount of leadership from Chloe, from Becca, from others on the team. That there are leaders on the floor, and you can't replace that. But that has to come from them, because essentially it is their team. It is their basketball team. It is their football team, whatever. And as a coach, you want that leadership to come through. Well, they've had leadership now all 4 years that they've come through, and it's just been amazing to watch.
Well, you know, that one of the things that we've talked about the kids, but let's talk about our coaching staff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where you start, because you have to sell to the kids that this is what we're going to do, and they've done a great job of making their kids understand and play on the same wavelength. I've always tell our kids the first day, if we all pull from the same end of the rope, we're going to go a lot farther than half and half. And it's very important that you got to have a chief. You got to have somebody that's a leader, and Coach Rohr's done a fantastic job with that, of getting the kids to believe and pull from the same end of the rope to where they believe in each other. And as a family, you're not always all going to agree on the same thing, but for the benefit of the team, what's the best? And that's what I think my job is to sell the kids on, this is what we have to do, this is the way you have to go about it. And they've just been, they've played together so well, and there's got to be some credit to our coaching staff that's done that and kept them together. And because believe it, today it's a hard thing to do, is keep kids together and doing the right things, or the things that you believe in.
But I know you've said this in the post-game show with Josh and I. There are times on the floor where you will ask the kids in the huddle, what do you want to run?
Exactly.
And let them decide what they want to do. So that's having faith in your kids and knowing or hoping that you've got enough leadership on the floor to make sure that they're making sure that the things on the floor get done right.
Well, they feel comfortable what they want to do. And you know, when you have that going, when you got that relationship of a coach trusting the kids, and I think there's just trust both ways, and that's a credit to our coaching staff to get our kids to believe in that and do those things. So they believe in it. You're not going to believe in, everyone's not going to believe in, what you're doing. What makes basketball such a great game, and I tell our kids this, is you can play it so many different ways. You know, you can play zone, you can play man, you can play a mixture, you can full court press. There's just so many different ways to play the game, which makes it so interesting on how to coach it. And everybody's got their own beliefs on how to do it. But the bottom line is, if you get something established, let's talk our defense. You know how long our defense has been in Lincoln, Illinois?
Since 1976.
And Coach Wallace came in 1976. The ball press has been here and has been very, very successful. That's a long time. That's 50 years. It is closing in on 50 years.
It is a tremendously long time, and we've seen other people. I've seen other people try and play it, and you said it. You've got to commit to it, and if you commit to it and believe in it, the kids will. If you get the kids to buy in, they'll believe in it. And I think that's what we've seen here in Lincoln, is that, hey, you know what Lincoln's going to do. Even other people will say, hey, you know what Lincoln's going to do. Yeah, well, you know what Lincoln's going to do. But the thing is, they do it very well.
Yep. And again, it's, my belief is do something and do it very well. If you do a mixture of things, then the coach is just saying, I'm going to confuse you. What you're guessing on what I'm going to do. But, to do all those things, you have to spend time on them. And we spend time on one thing to make it perfect.
Kirby did a game with me when Kerry couldn't be there, and I remember you talking about this. He looked at me and said, how do you keep up with this? Because this team it really amazes me in the standpoint that there's no way I could do stats and call a game at the same time, because I could look down, be doing stats, and the next thing I know, they're up 10, they're up 15. It's amazing. We call it the red and green express, but that's what it is. They go into a different level, a different gear, and the next thing you know, okay, a game that was a 5-point game is now a 20-point game, just like that.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, how in the heck did this happen? And I'm sure other teams and other coaches feel the same way. The game I really thought kind of put it, I guess, in perspective for me was the Notre Dame game when they got down 15 in the first half. And I'm thinking, I looked at Kerry and I said, we're in trouble. And I hate to use the term we, because I'm just a broadcaster. I said, we're in trouble. I've not seen this before, and it's like, Notre Dame's that good, and you think they're not going to let us come back. And then they started chipping away, and I told Kerry, I said, you get this thing to 10 by halftime, you're probably, you got a shot. Well, they got it under 10. And then in the second half, they came out first 4 minutes of the second half, and the next thing you know, at the end of 3 quarters, we're tied at 43, and it's like it's a whole new ball game. Those kids never gave up once. Never once. They didn't get flustered. You don't see them get panicked. You don't see them get flustered on the floor. They don't get into what I call the extracurricular activities with other kids. If there is trash talking going on, you don't really see it. It's not obvious from our kids that there's trash talking going on. It's to the point where, hey, they just go play we're just going to go play the game. And if it means we got to play harder, we got to play harder.
Well, there's not enough time to trash talk because it's mostly running clock.
Yeah, I know.
And those games go quick.
We talk about what great girls they are. And last night, I'm sure if you didn't watch the interview after the game. It's very official with the IHSA stuff in the background and all that. And I thought Jim Bowman was hysterical when they asked her about. She got a hot hand yesterday and hit some threes. And they asked her about that first one, and she kind of laughed and said, "Well, yeah, it was a bank shot three," and then kind of laughed that it went in, and that's kind of funny.
Counts.
Yeah.
If there's one thing about them that you would say, I don't know if it's a negative or not, but they are. I call them buzzards. They're buzzards. You don't want to be the manager of a restaurant and have those kids walk in because they'll clean you out. They'll eat everything in sight. Flossie's made sandwiches apparently to send up to Geneseo for us in the broadcast crew. They ate our sandwiches.
I'd have quit.
They should have a little more respect for you, huh?
Hey, it's like, okay, if you need it, that's fine. But, Grandpa Keith Johnson makes some cookies, and those cookies are gone like that. Yeah, they'll eat. Last night, they were ravenous after that basketball game last night, and I'm thinking somebody needs to warn a Bloomington Normal restaurant these kids are coming in, because if they went to a buffet, there wouldn't be anything left. They'd clean it out.
Yeah, if you're getting those cookies from Mr. Johnson and you're getting over there and eating some sandwiches, that's good food.
We got Missy Sweet Shop cookies one time brought up to us, and we had to hide them from the kids because it's like, if they see these, we'll never get any, so we hid them from the kids.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, a big game tonight, Coach. 5:30 tip. What time will the gates open?
Well, that's another one because there's 2 championship games prior to. So usually they try and open it an hour before, but what they got to do is get the 2A, because it's a different session. We're the first game of the second session today. So they got to get the gym cleared out before they bring in the 3-4A crowd. So you might want to take a jacket. I don't know what the weather's going to be like today, but I'm sure our fans will be there early.
Well,
the lines will be heavy, and you'll have to stand and wait to get in tonight because they've got to get the game over. The awards are immediately after your game. After the 3rd, 4th place game, they wait till the 4th place game was over before they gave the 3rd place awards. So they did the 3rd and 4th place awards. Championship series, they do it after each game. So then tonight we'll welcome the kids home once we get back. The game's over, and I think it'll be somewhere between 9:30. They'll meet out at home and.
Farm and Home.
We'll meet out there in that parking lot and hopefully have we're going to have a championship parade for them.
Celebration.
Bring them out to the high school and have a little ceremony. You can meet the kids. They'll hang around, sign autographs, and you can meet the girls, which most everyone has, and they know what type of girls they are, but special group.
And we'll have them on next weekend up here.
Up here? Is this our home now, or
home until we go somewhere? But
why don't we just start move our station here?
It's a good idea. Let's get it moved in.
You better hide the donuts if you bring them in here next weekend.
Lloyd, get Darren Powell written down. He was in grabbing some donuts, and he says 64-30 Railer Nation.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's another big score.
Bold. I hope Darren Powell's right. give him.
Well, if I'm right, I want to win some donuts.
Joe, you get all the donuts you want.
Well, look at me.
I know. You're going to have to start selling vegetables up here.
Yeah, I need some vegetables. It's a problem when that, because I know you have a Diet Coke problem.
A big time.
That we don't talk about a lot on air. But, yeah, now I got pop in here all the time, and it's like, boy, it's good. And not the diet. Syrup. Yeah, that syrup's good.
Yeah, it is. Well, Jay, good luck tonight. Hopefully your broadcast goes nice and smooth and, keep your blood pressure down.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a struggle, but, the girls are rolling, and they've had one goal on their mind the whole year, and they're at that point now where they can make that happen, and, they're going to be confident, and, it should be a heck of a game.
I think it's going to be a whale of a basketball game, and Chatham's got nothing to lose at this point. What do they have?
That makes it even worse.
Yes, Chatham has
that
nothing
makes
to
it
lose.
even worse.
They can throw anything they want at these girls. They can do practically anything they want. The good thing is looking at our girls, you can still see the focus in their eyes. They know they have one more step to go. The other thing is they don't give up. I mean, they do have the heart of a warrior when they step between the lines. That's what you want out of your team. That's what you want out of your athletes. It's going to be a whale of a basketball game. I know some people are thinking it's going to be an easy game. I don't think that whatsoever. I think it's going to be it's going to be a tussle, and I think our girls are going to come out on top.
Tussle, good word. Tussle. I don't know we've ever used that word on here before. Tussle. Good word.
Well, we use some words you're not probably supposed to use, but tussle's legal.
You do.
Sometimes you mess up.
And you can't take it back.
No, because Lloyd will not let you forget. He records everything and makes sure to make a clip. So, well, guys, Lady Railers tonight, 5:30 tip. The town of Lincoln's going to be pretty scarce tonight, so
You might need some extra patrols here in Lincoln because there's going to be some empty houses.
Yeah,
I know that.
Lock your doors.
Yeah.
I-55 is going to be busy, and hopefully we can get a good crowd there and support those Lady Railers.
Well, if it's any indication of the crowd that showed up yesterday, we're going to be fine crowd-wise, and I think there probably even some more people tonight. We had people come from out of state. And that's one thing these girls have done. They have kind of connected a lot of people back. I've heard from people I haven't heard from 30, 35 years. But if you watch social media, there are other people who haven't connected in 30, 35 years either that are now connected on social media in part because of this basketball team and what they're doing, what they're going through. So, and what do they say? And a little band shall lead them. Well, that's kind of what these kids are doing. They're showing us how the good side of things.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us today here on the Cheap Seats.
Thanks for fulfilling your
Jay
contract.
Harden and Coach Neil Alexander.
Yeah, tell Jay he's in trouble.
All right, Lady Railers tonight at 5:30, championship game against Chatham Glenwood. Be there and support on them Lady Railers. All right, we'll talk to you next week on the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM.
Good day.
Live video streaming of this event is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.